We're continuing to learn in fits and starts and spurts and bits and pieces, I don't know, more and more about the extraordinarily bizarre times at Mar-a-Lago related to this FBI search warrant, the raid, the documents, etc. And the latest from the Washington Post is that Donald Trump told a worker, move boxes of documents after the government subpoena was received, which is another indicator, if true, that Donald Trump knew exactly what was where and was specifically involved in trying to hide documents from authorities. Key witness and security camera footage. There's video. Offer evidence of Trump's actions after the government subpoena. People familiar say. Look at this. A Trump employee has told federal agents about moving boxes of documents at Mar-a-Lago at the specific direction of the former president, according to people familiar with the investigation, who say the witness account combined with security camera footage offers key evidence of Donald Trump's behavior as investigators sought the return of classified material. The witness description and footage described to the Washington Post offer the most direct account to date of Trump's actions and instructions leading up to the FBI search on August 8th, where agents were looking for evidence of potential crimes. The people familiar with the investigation said agents have gathered witness accounts indicating that, this is the key element, after Trump advisors received a subpoena in May for any classified documents remaining at Mar-a-Lago, Trump told people move boxes to his residence at the property. That description of events was corroborated by security camera footage. There is video which showed people moving the boxes, said the people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss an ongoing investigation. No comment from the Justice Department. No comment from Trump spokesman Taylor Budowich, other than the Biden administration has weaponized law enforcement and fabricated a document hoax in a desperate attempt to retain political power. Folks, this is more evidence of obstruction. This is Trump trying to hide his alleged violations of the Espionage Act. This was immediately called fake news. And then, of course, it's, oh, we have the footage. We have the video footage. We have the surveillance footage showing a staffer moving boxes out of the storage room and moving them to another location. So there is really one major story here. And dozens of you every single day write to me and say, David, there's sort of like tons of evidence that this guy obviously should be indicted. We're not saying imprisoned. We're saying evidence for an indictment, and then go through the process and determine whether there is guilt. The real story here, to me, continues to be the DOJ, Department of Justice, FBI, law enforcement, federal law enforcement investigating all of this. They have an almost absurd amount of evidence at this point in time to justify an indictment. Doesn't guarantee a guilty verdict. It doesn't guarantee necessarily even a guilty plea. But if this were anyone other than a former president, there is such extensive evidence that there would have been an indictment already. Why is there no indictment? Is Merrick Garland not actually willing to indict? We had this investigation in New York, which we covered, and if you've been watching the show, may ring a bell, in which two of the investigators resigned. And of course, when this happened, the Trumpists all came out of the woodwork and they had the same story ready to go. And that story was, oh, the investigators resigned because they realized it's a witch hunt and there's no evidence. That was wrong. The resignations were actually quite the opposite. The investigators resigned because despite all of the evidence they were finding, they believed that there was not actually a willingness from higher-ups to indict Trump. The investigators felt as though their work was completely in vain, that they were doing the work, they were finding the evidence, and yet they would bring it to their bosses, and they sensed a total lack of willingness from their bosses to actually go through with an indictment. They said, what the hell are we doing here? We're working in vain. We're working for nothing, and they resigned. At this point in time, and we will see as we're recording today's show, The January 6th committee hearing is taking place, scheduled to start momentarily. You will probably know more about it than I know now by the time today's episode goes live. The amount of evidence is really piling up here. Are we going to get an indictment? And remember, I'm actually for law and order. So when I say, are we going to get an indictment, I don't go to lock anybody up. I don't go to railroad anyone with charges. What I go to is, there seems to be enough evidence for an indictment. That's the step I'm talking about. The right, on the other hand, claims to be for law and order, and yet they say, lock up Hillary, lock up Joe Biden, lock up Hunter Biden, lock up Antifa, lock up BLM, lock up people who haven't even been charged. And in many cases, who aren't even under investigation. That's not law and order. Law and order is, look at all this evidence against Trump. It's time to indict. That's where we are. When you're looking for a good documentary to watch, you scroll through Netflix and Hulu for a while. There aren't that many. You realize you've seen the good ones. What if I told you there's a streaming platform exclusively for documentaries with the best selection where you won't run out of top quality documentaries? That is Curiosity Stream, with a massive catalog of the newest and best documentaries, classic titles from years ago, exclusive content you can't find anywhere else. I just watched Pompeii, Disaster Street. I visited Pompeii in Italy before. I wish I had seen the documentary before visiting, because it was made very clear I missed a lot when I actually went to Pompeii. You can watch Curiosity Stream on all of your devices. They're always adding new titles: politics, philosophy, true crime, nature. They have everything. And my audience gets Curiosity Stream for under $2 a month when you go to curiositystream.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman. The link is down below.